What's the difference between data analytics, data science, data engineering? Currently pursuing computer science and would want to branch out to either one of those, but I don't know the difference. Let's go. Over the past 13 years, I've had the opportunity to work across several roles in the data ecosystem. I started out as a BA and then an IT business systems analyst, and then a senior data analyst, then a senior analytics engineer, now most recently a senior data engineer and a tech founder. And in each one of those roles, I was leveraging data in some way or capacity. And what a lot of people miss is that in the data ecosystem, there's a lot of overlap between multiple roles. Like, for example, as a senior data analyst, you might actually be building data sets for leverage. That's what I was doing. And I was moving data sets. For analytics engineer, you might be functioning kind of similar to what a data analyst typically functions as. It just depends on the environment, the role, and the industry. So, generally speaking, the difference between each of these roles is where they sit typically within the data ecosystem. For example, data analysts typically sit pretty close to the business because typically they answer questions with data for the business. Data scientists typically use like machine learning and statistical programming to make predictions, rather. In data engineering, we sit very, very, very close to the actual data source itself because we're responsible for engineering those pipelines, getting data from one space to another, and making sure that it's useful when it gets there. But what takes the cake in every last one of those roles is they all use SQL. Each one of those roles use SQL, but they use it slightly differently, if that makes sense, but it's the same tool. When I was a data analyst, I used SQL heavily. I would use it to join multiple tables, do my data validations, clean my data, make sure that once the data arrived, that it was actually usable for the stakeholder to make informed decisions. As a data engineer, I still use SQL. I use SQL to build out my job automations, do my ETL processes, do my data transformations. I still very much so use SQL. And I've never been a data scientist, but data scientists use SQL as well because they use it to pull the data that they need to do their statistical programming and their machine learning on. And when I moved into a data engineer role, like my manager and I joke a lot because data engineering is totally different from analytics. Data engineering, you sit very close to the data in its raw state. So you see data for what it is, but you're also in that role responsible for the environment. And what I mean by that is you're very cognizant of if your queries are optimized or if things are running efficiently or if your data has the impact on productivity for other users within that ecosystem. And what's so crazy is that even today, as a data engineer, I still have to focus on data quality. I still have to focus on some of the things that I focused on when I function as a data analyst. So each of those roles kind of just leverages right into the next and they help support the next if you leverage them. So I really hope this helps. Bye.